the vibes are high right now for this Cincinnati Reds team. And interesting quote, if you will, our guy Charlie Goldsmith tweeted this out. The first time we've heard from Noelvi Marte. I'll let Elliot kind of set the stage a little bit.
So, again, this is the first time anybody's heard from Noelvi directly. And even though this isn't technically directly because it is with the use of an interpreter, I do find this quote to be absolutely strange. It's mind-boggling. When you have a guy busted for steroids, I don't expect a lot. I expect you to own up to your mistake, and we move on, and this becomes a non-story, hopefully, eventually down the road. With the quote that he has given us, and if it's okay, I think I'll read it here, if that's all right with you.
Yes, sir.
Noelvi Marte serving, this is from Charlie Goldsmith, Noelvi Marte serving a suspension for testing positive for a performance-enhancing substance is speaking with the media. Quote, in reality, it just appeared in my system. I really don't know how it came about, unfortunately. That's as far as I know. When you talk like that, it's hard for me to sit up here and believe that you're going to be a truthful baseball player, a truthful person, that you have integrity. And here's the thing, I can't get in line with that. I don't know if it was the Reds' PR. I don't know if they were allowing. I have a hard time believing they were allowing him to speak freely on this subject. But if that was the best quote that Reds' PR has, we're in big trouble. Because that was outrageous. That's a quote that gets people in trouble. And as what's going on over here?
Just keep going.
Just keep going. Me and you are in the same boat. We talked about the distractions, right? Like that.
Yeah.
You know,
I can't do the distraction thing. I'm really bad at it. I'm horrible at it. If somebody's doing that across the room.
Casey, you did nothing wrong.
No. Yeah, correct.
We're not throwing
just
you under the bus.
No. I was just I get it in my head, and it's just like I lose it. Saying
Casey's
all that,
ruined the show.
Saying
one day without a computer in front of him, he's ruined the whole day.
Saying all that, I think whoever allowed him to say this, they need to have a talking to. Who doesn't own up to it? It's the easiest method. It's the easiest thing you can do. Not only is he not admitting to it, he's basically saying it can happen again, right? He doesn't know how it got there. It might happen again, right? It can just happen anytime you want. We can just have stuff appear in our systems at any moment.
Yeah, it might be it could be in the food at the ballpark. I mean,
correct. That's what I'm saying.
In my system right
now. It's an outrageous quote. You can't quote that. So, just say you messed up. And if you didn't mess up, still say you messed up. We move on.
You talked about the Reds' PR. Like, what I find fascinating about this is this doesn't line up with any kind of PR type of thing at all. Now, as sports talk host, I love this quote. As sports talk host, I mean, this is great because I don't want that cookie cutter. Obviously we're trying to, clear my name and I'm looking forward to getting back. And, I'm sorry for my teammates for this setback, but I'm looking forward to being a part of the success in the second half of the season. And then we all move on with our days. And then we just anticipate the debut of him for the 2024 season. And then our opinions go from there. This just doesn't seem like, and by the way, Noelvi Marte, so this is the quote or the tweet, as you talked about, Elliot, from Charlie Goldsmith with the Cincinnati Enquirer. It's just Noelvi Marte serving a suspension for testing positive for a performance-enhancing substance is speaking with the media. So he's speaking with the media. Okay, so that at least helps me clear that up. I didn't know if this was like a one-on-one, but just that one little line right there, in reality, it just appeared in my system. That doesn't answer any questions. Now I'm hoping that there's going to be more tweets and that there's going to be more clarity and that there's going to be media members who are kind of pushed back on this. What do you mean? Then I got questions for the Cincinnati Reds. If he doesn't know how it got in his system, did you guys get to the bottom of it? What were the league's findings? Are there other situations where players are just magically waking up with just random substances in their body? I mean, come on, what are we doing?
Seems like a serious issue if that were the case. And we have the door open for that to be the case.
So, and it's like, to me, you would have to think that you have not addressed the media since the suspension was announced back in in March? Was it March when this was announced? Around there. March, February? So if that's the case, you've had how many months now for the Reds organization and for him and his interpreter and for his camp to get all on the same page of how they were going to address the media for the first time? I would have to think that at some point in coaching him up for this particular situation, that at no point was, just say you don't know how it got there. I highly doubt that was the case. And if there was no coaching in this situation, then shame on the Reds. If there was coaching and he just totally ignored it, also not a good look. Now there's another reason to be a little, leery of this individual, as Elliot kind of pointed out just a little bit ago. Not a great quote. I know in media we are known for taking quotes and maybe dissecting them incorrectly and maybe overreacting. Okay, maybe that happens from time to time. I don't know how you can overreact to this one right here when you say something as silly as, I just don't know how it got there. Your team, as of 2 damn weeks ago, was a joke in Major League Baseball. They had all these expectations, and you were one of the reasons why this team was plummeting. Injuries are an excuse. You can't make an excuse for, or I guess those are reasons why. But, it's one of those things you can't control. You can control what goes in your body. All right, because the rules are very, very clear of what you can and can't do, what substances you can and can't use. And there might be that isolated, innocent situation where something does appear in your system that you have no clue how it got there. But we are at the point with all the millions and the dollars that are being invested into this that I highly doubt that things are kind of slipping through the cracks as far as that's concerned. So with that being said, being a little bit more humble, showing a little bit more appreciation to your teammates for weathering the storm in your absence, while everyone went to bat for you and every other damn middle infielder on this roster when the Reds kept adding more middle infielders, saying, how many more middle infielders do you need? You wanted to trade Jonathan India. You don't trade Jonathan India. Then you go and add more middle infielders, all to find out that it's because of you and your selfish decisions. And then you're going to come out and still, after all these months of having opportunities to figure out exactly what you're going to say, the best you could come up with is, I don't know how it got there. I mean, 7-year-olds lie to their parents better than that, and I would expect better from a Major League Baseball player. This is why last week I kept asking, when he returns, when he makes his debut with the team this year, is he going to be met by boos or cheers? I think he's going to be met more just with a positive welcome back type of thing now that the Reds have weathered the storm. They're playing some of their best baseball of the season. That's fantastic. But if they were losing and he came back, I would expect a little bit more boos, because I would look at him and his selfish decision-making as a reason, for one of the reasons as to why the Reds, were struggling, especially in the month of May. I don't think Reds fans are going to be as outraged as I am about this particular situation, but it does speak to, I don't know. I don't know how I got there. What's up?
So just as this conference has been progressing and Charlie is putting out more and more
Did
information,
I just go on this long rant for no reason?
No. I wanted to
I've read
there is a little more extra context to the whole situation. Marte says, it's looking at my diet and how my health works. I live in a country that doesn't have the health system that we have here in the States. I have to look over everything going on to make sure these results don't happen again.
Americans. You're blaming us fat Americans for it, huh?
Yeah, I feel like he's kind of taken the easy way out of this by just saying that his country puts stuff in their meals that we don't here in the States. That's kind of how I'm reading it. Right?
Yeah, I'm going to go through McDonald's after this. And hi, can I get a number 2, please? And if you can hold the performance-enhancing drugs. If you could put it on the side. I like to dip my fries in it. I don't like it mixed with my pickles and lettuce on my burger.
Yeah.
Hold the performance-enhancing drugs. Jacob, I'll let you get in here. Like, what is happening here?
If a Big Mac had PEDs, I'd be at McDonald's a lot more.
I mean, that's extra. Inflation. Yeah. What does that do for pricing? No wonder.
Right. Well, I don't really have the same opinion that you guys have. I have no problem with what he said here. I would have a bigger problem if he stood up there and said, I did steroids. I couldn't remember the last time. Fernando Tatis stood up there and said it was ringworm cream.
You can't be serious.
I never want a player to admit to that. I think that's the worst thing you can do.
They got suspended for it, and they didn't contest it.
It'll ruin your career if you admit you did steroids.
Correct, because you did steroids.
He said he doesn't know how it got into his system. See, now we can play this game, which I like to
There
play.
is no game to be played.
You know he did it, though.
I also don't think there would be any Reds fan that would ever boo him coming back from steroids. I think that's... I want more players to do steroids and not get caught. So that's kind of where I'm at.
To be fair, nobody's going to boo him. My issue is to sit there and not take ownership of this. Wild move. Crazy move.
I totally disagree. I do not love the
Then why didn't you contest it? Why was there no contesting?
If it was proven that he had it in his system, there's no contest.
Correct, because you did it.
Because he did it.
Unless he didn't. See?
But what makes you think he didn't?
Did you read the quote?
Yeah, maybe
he doesn't know how it got there.
Maybe they're pumping up a bunch of hormones.
And you think Fernando Tatis used ringworm cream? Got him suspended for 8
I do not agree with you, but the point that you made about when you actually, because we're reading his quote now and reacting to it. The one quote, like this will be read today, reacted by it, we'll react maybe another day or two and forget about it. The one quote that will never be erased, to Jacob's point, that even though I disagree with having no problem with it, the one quote that would totally follow him for the rest of his career is, yes, I knowingly use steroids.
Right.
Because that has followed Alex Rodriguez around. It has still never cleared him, no matter how many hot celebrity, people he's with. It doesn't matter, right? So the bottom line is, to that point, I could understand that. But as a fan, I just don't. I just think it was a very selfish decision on his part to have a Big Mac with PEDs. To be, pay attention to the nutrition label on the side. I mean, it's not that hard.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a tough decision to make, but I feel like if you really like believe that he doesn't know where it went, I feel like that comes more from the side of he's a player on my favorite team, and I just don't want to believe that he would do anything like that.
I'm not acting like it's anything different, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be completely clear. If this is a player not on the Reds and it's not a great player, I think could be great for the Reds, I would probably have a very different stance. But if Noelvi Marte, who I had some money on going into this year to win NL Rookie of the Year, he was second in odds. I think everyone was really optimistic for what he could be for this Reds team. For him to, before his first full season in the MLB, stamp his career with, yes, I did steroids on a quote card, I think that would have been a massive mistake.
Fair.
You don't have to say, you say, listen, I made a mistake.
Right.
And it's over. That's how it ends. You already got suspended. The asterisk is with you for the rest of your career.
Yeah.
Nothing changes except now you're trying to pretend like it didn't happen. The drug he used has to be injected.
That's the
The
best
drug
part.
he used has to be injected. This isn't a pill. You don't sneak this into somebody's food. It's a needle. You have to wrap your arm up and you shove it in your arm.
It's the
That's how you
clearest
take
of
this
clear
drug.
anabolic steroid. I mean, it's like Class A, strength-enhancing PED.
They gave it
no
to
questions
horses.
about it. Yeah, PED.
I mean, was he
normal
trying to
use.
recover from COVID? I mean, what we got going on?
This
Maybe he
is-
had ringworm too.
I get what Jacob's trying to say. The issue is that it's a drug where you can't hide what you did. And the fact that we are trying to actively hide what we did while at the same time not contesting it is an issue. And not to mention, this looks horrific for the Cincinnati Reds if it comes out that Jacob is right and that he actually didn't do it. It was a training staff member who accidentally did it or something like that. Because if that's what comes out, then we have a whole different issue. I don't know what happens at that point if the training staff is accidentally juicing up players.
Real quick,
by injecting them with steroids.
One question I have for the Reds is, do you not follow your players to these foreign countries in the offseason? Like, have someone watching what they're doing, what they're eating? If it's really this easy to get PEDs in your food, in your system, like, there needs to be some kind of level that they're not just doing the standard thing. They're professional athletes.
They are professional
when they go
athletes,
home,
which means they don't need babysitters.
It
Like,
seems
at
like they
some
might.
point, at some point, you have to put this back on the athlete with the money that's being thrown out there. Look, back in the 90s and the 2000s, the big argument is that the difference between a career completely coming to an end and millions of dollars was, of course, the usage of steroids. They felt like, hey, if I get caught and get banned from baseball, who cares? Because the only way I'm going to have a chance to make this money is if I try to recover quicker or I do try to beef up to enhance my stats to go to that next pay level. And they felt that was justifiably so. I feel like in today's baseball, where money, even though it is the Cincinnati Reds, I just don't feel like he's at that point in his career where he was like hanging on by a balance. I mean, this was one of the most highly anticipated, prospects being called up for the Cincinnati Reds to feel that he needed to do steroids to hang on. So you're either not confident in your ability to play at this level, or you're just a bonehead. But the bottom line is today, we coddle athletes way too dang much. We coddle them way too dang much. So I don't think that they need a babysitter, Jacob, in my opinion. I just don't think they need a babysitter. I think that with all the money that is available out there, pay more attention. If someone said, Justin, because I eat like a piece of crap, let's just be honest, okay? I like, my PEDs and my burgers when I eat them. Like, I enjoy that. But if they said, hey, to keep your job and we're going to give you $1 million raise, you need to make sure that you stay under 1,500 calories per day, I'm going to be the most fit 34-year-old without ulcers you will ever see in your life because the money is worth it. These guys have to be more responsible. And even if he doesn't know how, let me ask you this, Elliot. Let's just say he doesn't know how it got in there. And he told that to the Reds PR staff. There still has to be a better way to BS it and say, well, don't say you don't know how it got in there, but at least say, me and my team need to do a better job of following what we're using. Obviously I've experienced some injuries and we were trying to, whatever. But
Justin, this is a significantly worse look
Yeah.
for the Reds if it comes out that he didn't actually do the steroids, if the Reds organization did it to him. Which is why that quote makes no sense, because there's no way he says that quote on his own. There's no way we start the first press conference with Noelvi Marte this season saying the drugs magically appeared into my system. We don't know how they got there. Because if they don't know how they got there, you're just A, lying, or B, you're telling the truth, and the Reds organization did this, which makes everything so much worse. That quote is so bad that it's scary. That's the worst quote he could have possibly cooked up. I don't know which Reds PR agent gave him that one, but they really screwed the pooch.
this quote's going to be gone by Wednesday.
No, well, the quote's going to be gone.
Absolutely nobody's going to be talking about this in 2 days.
The quote's going to be gone because he's going to clarify it and say, yes, to be clear, I did do steroids, and that other quote was wrong. He's going to come out and say that, and that's when this quote's going to go away.
Really hope he doesn't.
I hope he does, because it's what he's going to have to do. Otherwise, the media is going to be asking Nick Kroll, hey, what do you got your trainers giving our players? Some juice? You got some extra juice in there? That's what's going to go on here.
Couldn't disagree more.
So there is more to this, too. Again, Charlie Goldsmith does a great job covering the Cincinnati Reds. Give him a follow on X or Twitter, whatever you still call it. Says Marte, speaking via an interpreter, the whole team has had my back since we learned about the suspension. I don't think it'll change anything that goes on with the team. They've always had my back as far as that's concerned, but we'll be following this. So make sure you give Charlie Goldsmith a follow on X, as well as all your other great Reds reporters, too, because they're bringing you a lot of these same quotes as far as that's concerned.